Hello and welcome to The Path to Transformation. My name's Tammy and I am a sound healer, podcaster, life transitions coach, and I wanted to bring you an episode today about 30 things I learned by 30 because I love those little episodes of like, what would you tell your younger self and like things I wish I knew. So I wanted to bring you that today. And before we hop in, there's a few things I want to let you know about. The first being to be magnetic, and this is a membership. So with the Pathway membership, there's a bunch of different workshops you can work on for all these things that you might be struggling with, such as money, love, and your inner child, shadow. So these different workshops help you get to your subconscious mind and reprogram so that we can actually make change moving forward. I cannot talk enough about how much it has helped me using this program. And if you're interested in checking it out, maybe get in the membership, my code is Tamara6281. And another thing is I want to let you know about Ally Bank, okay? So I have a referral code I'll put in the link below. And there's a few things I wanted to work on in 2023. One of them was getting my finances together, okay? So now I'm a year in. I've been using Ally for like a year now and I really like it. It is a high yield savings account online. So your monthly interest is anywhere from like $10 to $20. And I wish I could tell everybody to get, their finances together and get financially stable, but this was one thing that I am so glad I did because honestly, I didn't really have a savings account, to be honest, because the one bank I had closed and then I just merged them and yeah, I was like, what the heck? But this is really cool because you can like get buckets and I've been loving it, finding it helpful. You're not attached to a debit card, so you don't get like tempted. And yeah, it's all online. I think it's user-friendly too. So if you're interested in checking that out, code below. And last but not least, if you're looking for a coach, you're going through a life transition, you want to make some change, I'm your girl. I have one-to-one sessions available. So you can check the link below as well for all that information. All right, so 30 things I learned by 30. I just turned 30. It was like seriously kind of overwhelming, like the new decade, because I think I had some of societal norms in my back of my brain and I was just like thinking about, oh my God, like I should have this done and I should have this done by now and like, oh my God. And I panicked. I did panic for a moment, okay? But then I realized, I'm like, wait a second. There's nothing to panic about. We're present. We are present, okay? And yes, 10 years does feel like yesterday. College does feel like yesterday, 10 years ago, but it does go by slow, but also fast. So anyway, I wanted to bring you a little list of 30 things. I have some notes, so I have them over here. If you see me glancing over, that is why. Also, welcome to a studio. I wanted to treat myself and try it out because I'm like in the process of figuring out where, how, when I want to record and stuff because this is something that I really enjoy doing as a, former journalist major. It gets me back to my roots. So trying to find like a home base, but so far I like this place. I'm really grateful to be able to use this space today and have this being recorded as well. So hopefully everything comes out good. We had some bumps in the road, but I figured that was gonna happen. I'll just have to rent the space again and be more prepared next time. But anyway, so 30 things from 30. Now, again, this is from my perspective as a person that is I'm not, a medical practitioner, not a doctor, anything. I'm single. I do not have children. I've never been married, okay? So this is from my perspective, okay? I am a frequent flyer of therapy. I enjoy therapy. I work on myself like every day and everything. So again, this is my perspective. So take it or leave it, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So first things first, life can be short, use it wisely. And there's one quote that resonated with me and I was like, this was post-COVID after my mom died. And it was this quote that I remember of, what will you do with this one wild and precious life? And that's stuck with me so much. Because yes, we have one life, but like it is so precious. So what are we gonna do with it? Are we gonna sit on the sidelines or not? And I think losing my mom helped me realize like just how short life can be, okay? We aren't guaranteed to go to 65. We aren't guaranteed to be able to retire, okay? And that's just like the honest truth about it. Like, yeah, I wish that was the case for everybody, but like it's just not the case for everybody. So hate to break it to us, hate to, give that reminder sometimes, but yeah, life can be short. Okay, now number 2. Again, some of these like might be a little bit repetitive. So number 2 is you don't have to want what everybody else wants, and that's okay. And the things that you want, how much of it is actually what you want. So this basically I learned like, oh my God, I don't have to want children tomorrow. I don't have to want to have gotten married at 25. I kind of like thought, that like there was this whole timeline and stuff, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't have to want what everybody wants. And it was important for me to like reevaluate and see, is this what I want or not? So what's the societal norm? What's actually one of your desires? That was one thing that I definitely learned. Number 3 is that if you do want those things, let's say, for example, for me, like marriage, kids, if you do want them, there's a chance it could happen tomorrow or in a few years because you're on your own timeline. So it could happen tomorrow, it could happen several years down the road, it could happen 10 years, and it's important to be like detached from that, okay? Because we're all on different timelines, and that was so hard for me to accept that, that some people, that's in their destiny to have met the love of their life maybe in their 20s, but for some people it happens later. That's okay. We are all on our unique timelines, and that was a very hard pillow for me to swallow, for me to accept. Number 4, are you living in the present or are you living in the future? So are you living in your head, basically? And this was one of the things that I realized, because I think a lot of times looking back, I was living in the future of, okay, what's next? What am I gonna do when, college is over? What's the next step? Like I can really vividly remember my whole senior year of college just flew by, because I was too busy thinking about when I was moving to Austin and like the AmeriCorps program I was going to be in and everything. So are you living in your head, or are you living in the present, in your body? That was something that I struggle with still to this day, but it's something that I realized that I really have to work on. And I was also talking to my cousin about it, because she recently moved from East Coast to West Coast too. And she's like, I feel like I didn't really get to take it in and soak in my time on the East Coast completely. So it's important to also like check in and also have gratitude for where we are right now, because it really is all part of the journey. Number 5 is live in the moment, but also enjoy the process. So as we are getting into the moment, getting in our body, not living in our head, getting in our body, enjoying this process. Like I hate the saying, it's so corny sometimes, but like trust the process is so true. We really have to trust it and enjoy the process. Enjoy every step of the way as much as we can. Because if we're living in the future, then the future's gonna come and we're gonna be like, holy crap, I didn't even get to enjoy XYZ time of my life. So that is one of the regrets that I had, that I'm glad that I have revisited. Number 6, this was something that I actually learned recently in Al-Anon, which is for somebody who has been affected by somebody's alcoholism. Do you have a victor or a victim mindset? And where are we operating from? I think a lot of stuff for me has been a victim mindset, coming from a victim mindset and almost like wallowing in my problems and like the stuff going on. So I was like, holy crap, how can I alter that and become a victor? Like, you know, somebody that wins, that goes after it, instead of feeling like, oh, like, I can't do it, or I'm not where I could be, I'm not good enough, Shutting that off is something that I'm learning about and I'm working on. So yeah, I think just realizing like, holy crap, at this 29th year, I think I'm still operating a little bit from a victim mindset. Number 7. Okay, a big one. Get ready. Your reminder, beauty is subjective. Beauty is subjective. Your beauty, what you think is beautiful, might not exactly be what I think and value as beautiful. And that's just like top of the line, like top thing, need to accept, need to understand. Perfection, also subjective. What you think is perfect might not be what I think is perfect. And that was just like something that I was like, holy crap, I'm not gonna ever fit that beauty standard at the time. Again, this was one of those, like after I had that number 1 realization, then this realization came. And it's like, I need to live up to my own beauty standards of what I think is beautiful, because I'm not going to love what other people are thinking is beautiful. I'm just not. What do you think is beautiful? When do you feel most beautiful? And how can you start to live up to that? And just, we're always gonna still think about what other people think about us, but like, how can we not let that define us and really, what's the word I'm looking for, but like manage our day? How can we not let it affect us as much? In this decade of my life, in my 20s, I was able to see how, for marketing purposes and business and fashion and beauty, I was able to witness how the industry has used our bodies and fashion and everything as trends. I was like flabbergasted when I started to realize this. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, like these trends were in style back in the 2000s when I was a kid. I remember seeing XYZ pop star wearing that. Okay, fashion comes back. I remember my mom saying that. But I was able to witness how they made our beauty standards become trends as well. We went from BBLs and stuff to Ozempic, and I was just like, whoa, I can't believe I'm witnessing this. So it's really important for me, and I don't know, I think all of us, to remember like that their whole job is to still make money. So they're gonna change the trends, but your body isn't a trend, and however you feel best is on you. And okay, so like we can still chase, try, get the injection, get the filler, but they're still gonna change it so that they can make money. So that was a huge realization of, wow, I'm able to see what has been a trend and what hasn't been. So number 9 is, are you living to please others or to please yourself? Some people are never, ever, ever going to be satisfied. So what is right for you? Who are you living to please? Are you doing the things you want to do? Or are you making decisions based off of what other people in your family, whoever, you know, you want to impress or you want to love you, are you making decisions so that they're happy? Are you going to med school because your parents want you to do that, even though you hate blood, let's say, and you hate science? Who are you living to please? And that was a huge thing that I had to realize was, oh my gosh, I need to live to please myself, man, because I can do and you know, try this and that and XYZ, but some people are still always going to be sad, still going to be unimpressed. So one of the things for me was deciding to move out here to the West Coast. I couldn't please my family and everything, so I'm gonna do what's right for me. again, because back to number one, life can be short. So I'm gonna do what's right for me. And another note on that is I have a friend that was working a job. She really enjoyed her job and she loved her coworkers and stuff, but she was really unhappy with some of the admin and like the other higher ups. Okay, she was unsatisfied with how that was going, and she was kind of asking for advice a little bit, and I was trying to remind her, like, you know, everybody's gonna make ultimately a decision that's right for themselves, so we can't make some of these decisions based on, you know, oh, I still want my coworkers. Like, we can't make decisions based off of other people. We have to make decisions for ourselves, because when it comes down to it, like, they're not gonna probably decide to stay because we're there. Like, they're gonna be like, wait, I need more money, I need a healthier, you know, work environment, so I'm gonna go. So make decisions that are right for you. Again, this is from a single perspective without kids, so just keep that in mind. For number 10, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. This is one of my favorite quotes that I like cut out a long time ago and put it on my vision board because it is so true. I'm not saying we have to, you know, do stuff that's like dangerous or absolutely like we might blow our entire savings type of thing. I'm not saying that, but when we want to challenge ourselves, when we want to do bigger things, we have to exit our comfort zone, get uncomfortable, have a little bit of some awkward moments and feeling like, oh, a little bit weird, in order to grow, to achieve more, and to ultimately start succeeding at, you know, higher levels or whatever. That's just inevitable. Number 11, going along with getting out of our comfort zone, is that fear is inevitable. It's going to be there no matter what we do, no matter what stage of life we are in, what age we are in. But we can reframe it. And one of the books that I liked was Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert. And she talked about how fear can come along with us, and fear can be our friend in the car on our road trip. Okay, but fear is in the back seat. Fear could come and be a co-pilot or in the passenger seat, but fear does not drive the car. Fear does not drive the car. You have the steering wheel. Fear does not have the steering wheel. Another book that I really like is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffords. This is one of like my Bible books that I refer to and reread often. But she talks about how, again, fear is inevitable. We're gonna have it, but reminding ourselves that I can handle it. I can handle it. That was like one of the biggest like moments when I read that book that I work on, and I've been working on in my 20s, is whatever comes my way, I can handle it. And then also going along with that, like when there is a challenge or we are working towards something, the magic word of yet is really important. So I'm learning. I don't have the skills yet. I'm working on the skills. So kind of reframing like I'm getting there and I will be able to handle it. That's really important. So 12th thing that I learned is that we all have an internal thermostat temperature, okay? Yes, I can appear all happy and like giddy and like, oh my God, la-di-da-di-da. But inside, the vibration, the energy, our internal vibration, we all have this set point, okay? And some of us have it set a little bit like lower, cooler. Some of us have it set higher, warmer. So we will start and continue to make decisions and think about things to keep us at this set point, okay? So even though I felt really happy, I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm still operating from a place of feeling negative, feeling sad, woe is me, the victim mindset. I think I'm still like operating from that point. And I noticed that like in, let's say, romantic relationships, whatever, I was still starting to go after partners, people that would put me back in a like in the negative space. So it wasn't exactly, you know, who I wanted, what I wanted, but like, oh, we might as well. And I was like, wait, this is going to keep me in that negative space, the negative vibration. That's not who I am anymore. I am present me, working towards future me. We aren't the old me, old beliefs. So really trying to think about my decisions and my choices, and are they reflecting, and I'm making this decision because I want to stay at that lower energy perspective or spot, or do I want the higher vibration, making better decisions? And going along with that, are you operating from past you or future you? So if you used to label yourself as shy, are you operating still to this day from that shy perspective? Or have you worked on yourself and you've become more outgoing or energetic? Are you operating from that you, that future you? Because we'll still have in the back of our mind, I might show up to a bar or a party and I can think like, oh yeah, I'm like feeling confident, I'm good, I can show up like that. Or I can remember my past and how I used to be labeled of being shy, and then I can like go in and think like, oh my gosh, like I remember when I was like so awkward and you know, middle school and high school, and then I can start operating from that shy perspective, even though I don't think I am anymore. This kind of goes along with the 2B magnetic stuff that I talked about, some of our shadow and stuff. But yeah, are you operating from some of these past beliefs of you? So showing up to the party, showing up to the event as who you are now, the qualities that you possess now, because nobody can see who you used to be. Nobody can see that you were shy. They only see what they're getting now. So why are we still operating from the old us, these old beliefs, old labels that we had from ourselves? Number 14, if you feel like you've outgrown a place, it's probably because you have. And if I could tell you one thing, one suggestion, one piece of advice, it is make the move. If it is a physical home move or a job, I cannot recommend enough making that life transition, taking that leap, because we can always go back to our comfort zone. We can always go back to where we started, but we can't often we can't often have a redo or a do-over, I should say, because sometimes by that point, maybe you are married, you do have kids, you do have a house and a dog and whatnot. So what's holding you back now? Why not make the move now? Why not take the steps, save the money to make the move now? Because what's holding you back? We can always backtrack, we can always go back, but why have the regret? Number 15, your reminder. Literally, anything is possible. I wish somebody pressed play and I heard this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yes, again, this is a phrase that is overused maybe, but it is so true. Anything is possible. Anything that you see around us, you see in your world, your viewpoint, your vantage point, that was all in somebody's head. All of that was a vision, and people called that person crazy for thinking about it and trying, I'm looking at the light bulb, but trying 10,000 times to get a successful light bulb like Edison, and people called them crazy, but they still made it happen. So don't forget, anything is possible. We can't set a limit for ourselves. We can't have a cap. I can't have a cap of what ultimately, you know, I think is the top, because who am I to say? It is unlimited amounts of options, unlimited amount of possibilities that can happen. So don't cap yourself. That's something that really stuck with me. And number 16 is advocate for yourself, get an answer, and please don't give up. A reminder to me, a reminder to others. One thing that really made me realize this was my mom, and she had an autoimmune disease and she didn't really have answers. So yes, she probably also was depressed. Backstory, don't know how she died exactly, still unspoken, or we don't really know, but she did have an autoimmune disease. And I just remember seeing her really sad and everything, and she really put trust in some of these doctors. And now looking at it, they were like older and stuff. So I wish she had felt the urge and had that victor mindset and went after finding other doctors, getting an answer. I'm not giving up. I really wish, but then I wouldn't be here, you know? But I was inspired by that, and I recently got a diagnosis of PCOS, and this helped me realize, like, just because the doctors don't really give me an answer and tell me what to do, I have to keep advocating. I have to keep getting answers, maybe getting a second opinion, so on and so forth, because I don't want to end up like my mom. And also, to go along with that, with the PCOS diagnosis, I was trying to eat a certain way, and I realized that not every, like, the diets that I see and lifestyles that I see, these aren't right for everybody. You have to eat right for your body. So that was one thing that I really learned this month, because I was eating, I said vegan, but like, what am I thinking? I was basically vegetarian, and I was eating beans, and I'm thinking, wow, this is really healthy, but I wasn't eating right for my body. And I literally got a diabetic, they diagnosed me with that. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what? I'm this, I work out, blah, blah, blah. I was shocked, but you know, I wasn't eating right for my body. And now I know that I'm insulin resistant, and I'll have to really eat right for me. So advocate for your health, get an answer, and eating right for you is so important. Number 17 is huge. Something that I'm still working on every day is that don't make decisions out of scarcity. Check in with yourself when you make decisions. Are you accepting the job because you have this fear and you think that the job that you actually want, with extra vacation time, let's say, is scarce? Are you only accepting this job because maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get a job really quick, and even though it's not as much hours as I wanted, are you accepting that job because of that? Are you beginning the relationship, starting to talk to somebody because you think that what you want doesn't exist and it's scarce? So I started to check in and realize, damn, maybe I accepted that job out of scarcity mindset. Maybe I started to talk to that person as from a scarcity mindset perspective. And when you can, holding out for the right opportunity, because it will come up. It will. Because I'm in a spot where, like, right now I want to get some more freelance work and whatnot, and I noticed that this was like 5 days a week, and I really want to do 3 days a week. And I almost made a decision, and I was like, oh wait, that's out of scarcity. I can't. I'm okay right now, but I want to hold out for the right opportunity. So where are you making your decisions out of? Number 18 is inspired by the book Mindset by Carol Dweck, another one of my Bible books, I'm telling you, must read. What mindset do you have? Do you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset? Growth mindset being that whatever area of your life, whatever you're doing, I can get better with practice. I'll get better with practice, and I can gain these skills with the more that I do to help. Fixed mindset, on the other hand, is having only a fixed amount of intelligence, of skill for a certain thing. So let's give the example. You don't like math, you have a fixed mindset, I won't be good at math. I'll never be able to do any job with math. But if you have a growth mindset, then you would know with practice, I'll get better. Even though this is challenging right now, I'm not there yet, there's that magic word, but I'm gonna gain the skills, the practice, and I'm going to be good. I'll get there. So that was a huge realization of, I operated my entire like schooling from a fixed mindset, and with a lot of things still fixed mindset. But even like recording today, I definitely was having a fixed mindset with this, like, oh my gosh, I'm not great with this audio stuff, and like this technology and that technology and this and da, da, da. But then I remembered, oh wait, the more that I work in the studio and book and stuff, I'll get better with the equipment, and soon it'll be easy for me. Okay, and number 19, it is never too late to start something new, to do the hobby that has been on your heart or that you've been thinking about, to try to do a new project, to join some type of group. It is never too late. It's never too late, because again, life can be short, and why not start now? You aren't too old. You're only too old because you tell yourself you're too old to join the club. So it's like we have to check in with ourselves of what we're telling ourselves, and it's never too late to do that opportunity and everything. Number 20 is that some people are meant to be in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. I believe that was the quote, season, reason, or a lifetime. And I think it was super hard to accept that some people are only going to be in your life for a season, for a chapter, whatever metaphor you want to use. I don't know, I think as kids, like from movies and television and stuff, we see like, oh my gosh, you have a best friend and you have best friends and like you're a group and like we're gonna be friends forever, and like, but things change, people grow, some people don't maybe want to grow and challenge themselves, some people maybe want to stay the same, but it's okay if some people live, you know, the textbook life. It's okay if you want more too. We're not all gonna want the same things when it comes down to it. So know that things might change. And you never know, the people that maybe you lose touch with, you might reconnect and become friends again in a lifetime, maybe when your chapters are more aligned, let's say. But for other people, some people were just meant to bring us a lesson, to be with us for a moment. And that is something that was a tough pill to swallow. But I think when it comes to like friendships, having good friendships and stuff, reciprocation is like the key word. If you're putting in all the effort, then maybe they don't really want to be your friend anymore. Like that was something that I had to realize. Or maybe they don't know they're not putting in the effort. So like also it's important to communicate. That's something that I am working on as a young adult, oh my god, I'm 30, so I'm not that young anymore, but as an adult, as a woman, that's something that I am working on. So like making sure we have communication, but reciprocation is like super important with friendships. Are they hearing you out and asking you questions? Are you hearing them out and asking questions and holding space? Or is it just like a one-way friendship? It's all about them, all about their problems. You're just listening. Do they ever ask you questions? This isn't only for friendships, but also relationships, but that's not my expertise. I like to talk about friendship. So it's okay if things change and you have to let go of people. Number 21, be yourself. Jim Carrey said, this was a quote I liked from him, "Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in the world. Risk being seen in all of your glory? Are you morphing and trying to be like everybody else so that you can be accepted? I so badly as a kid wanted to fit in. I wanted to avoid bullying because that's what I saw. So I specifically remember in 4th grade making decisions and trying things because I didn't want to become a victim and get hurt and whatever by other people. Are you still doing that? Am I still doing that? You know? So, but just trying to fit in and hold aspects of our personality back, this does make us invisible and blend in. But what's beautiful about me, about you, is our uniqueness, is our qualities, the qualities that we possess. So where can you be more authentic? Where can you show more aspects of your personality to others? Number 22 is the polarity of life and learning that, wow, there is death and there is rebirth and birth, and knowing that and accepting that that is okay. So even in the most beautiful moments of my life, there has been an aspect of grief. Even in the saddest moments that I've experienced in my life thus far, there has been some beauty. So this polarity, oftentimes like you'll hear about somebody losing their grandma and then a few months later they find out they're pregnant or they have their child. So this whole like, oh my God, I'm grieving, but now there's new life. So even if like, let's say we get married, I get married, let's say, I might still have some grief because I'm grieving this chapter of maybe like being single or grieving my mom that's not there. And somebody, for another example, my cousin, like I mentioned, she moved from East Coast to West Coast, and she had some grief about grieving this place that she really loved, even though she's starting this new chapter with this person. So it's a beautiful start. However, she was grieving the loss of a city that she absolutely loved and had so many good times. So there's going to be polarity in life, knowing that, accepting it. 23, to go along, kind of backtracking to like number 1, but life can change in an instant, and it's super important to tell people how we feel, how we, you know, that we love them, that we care about them, and just trying to be intentional maybe with these relationships and the things that we say with people, because life can change in an instant. You know, I woke up one day, chatted with my mom, and then a few hours later she was dead. So, but I'm glad that I finished phone calls with I love you. Why is that? Because I had a gym teacher, so shout out to him, and he told us that he never got to say I love you to his mom, and he said that he regretted not saying it, and that my little 4th grade, 3rd grade self was like, oh my gosh. So maybe I had a little anxiety or OCD about it, but I was like, I have to tell people I love them now. I must. So moving forward, I started to tell people, loved one, like family and stuff, when I left, like, oh, I love you and stuff. So remembering to tell people how you feel, and don't hold it in until like it's too late. Number 24, we all need help sometimes. Don't be ashamed. Whew, this one is a little bit heavy because I felt really ashamed when I checked myself in, or maybe didn't check, but put myself into the mental health ward, the psych ward, after my mom died. And I felt so much shame, and I was like, oh my God, people are gonna think XYZ of me, or think I'm crazy. And I remembered all the stuff that I'd seen in the movies and whatnot, and that was the best thing that I did for myself. I wouldn't be here today, literally, but also I wouldn't be having like made these moves and stuff, because I was very not okay mentally. So I owe it to my past version of me for taking that leap and for accepting like, wow, I'm afraid of what other people are gonna think, but I'm going to do this. So don't be ashamed, because it might just be the best thing that you can do for yourself to get that help. And I know people are still there's still so much negative stigma and still so much worries about it, but it saved my life, it can save your life. So even if your family or your friends say one thing, like, you got to do what's right for you, I learned. And fuck what they think, like, who cares, you know? It's our life when it comes down to it. So I'm so glad, but I still have some shame about it when I share it and things with people. And to go along with that, people are gonna think what they think about you regardless. They're gonna think, even if we try to control what I write and like what I film and what I say, I can still control that all I want, but regardless, people are still gonna think what they want. They're gonna still have their judgments, whatever. So you might as well do and say what is coming from your heart or what you find is right in the situation. So as much as we like want to control and whatever, we can't control other people's opinions. We can't control what they're thinking. So that's why it's been a learning process to learn to just speak from my heart and to share what I want to, because I think there's still perfectionism that came into that, but it's been really eye-opening to learn, like, oh wait, like, I'm still, even though I'm like writing this, I'm still trying to like have people think a certain way, but I can't. I have to detach from the outcome and just say what I want to. So number 26 is learning to sprinkle in fun and newness and excitement into our lives. So even though, like, you know, my budget has been different at different parts of my life, it's still important for me to be intentional with my plans and make it a point to go for a walk, to do yoga at my house, to call up a friend, to hang out with a friend. Even if, you know, I have little money in the bank, right? It's still important, because our spiritual health is things that lifts our spirit, make us feel happier. It's all connected, our health, but it's mind, body, spirit. But basically the spiritual pillar as a perfectionist was something that I just like completely threw out. I didn't think I had time before my mom died to have fun, to hang out with friends. I thought I just had to work. And that literally burnt me out. I was so unhappy. So it's really important to make it a point to have some fun and to book a little trip or to do something new, like go to a park and have a picnic if you've never done that. Look up free events in your city. And one thing that I think it was Jesse Itzler said, but he made this like big calendar and he like put all the weekends of the month, and he had this whole like data thing about it, but he made sure that he had like 1 or 2 huge things in the year. Granted, he is like a billionaire, but he made sure he had like 1 or 2 huge things in the month, and then he had some smaller things like every week or, you know, whatever, so that when he looked at this calendar, he would see all the exciting things that he had to look forward to. So really, this idea of like just having one vacation a year, like that our parents might have thought like, like, let's try not to do that. Like, maybe like assuming that you have a job and stuff, like, yeah, still plan that big a vacation, but how can you do maybe some road trips locally, do something new and exciting like every weekend, maybe with somebody new. So really getting fun, having the fun in your life that you're meant to do. Ooh, number 27, don't be afraid to do things alone and to show up. So one thing that was huge about getting out of my comfort zone was going to events alone, putting myself in a room with people that maybe I wouldn't have normally have been in, right? When I was getting into like the wellness space and stuff, I had to go to like different networking events and conferences, and I was nervous as a formerly shy girl, right? As that memory of being shy. And I was nervous and I was showing up alone. I didn't want to look weird and I didn't want to look like a loser and all these stupid little beliefs that we have from when we're younger, right? Or at least, you know, I had. But then I realized, I'm like, wait, I'm here, I'm having fun on my own. I know if I go to this event, I'm gonna meet one cool person. And that's always one of my intentions. I'm like, I'm gonna meet one person that I connect with. I'm gonna learn something. I'm gonna make this the best time that I can. And I'm going to be okay. But also, I always remember that other people that are showing up alone, they are or have been in your shoes before, where they felt uncomfortable or awkward. So just reminding myself that like other people understand what I'm going through and have felt what I'm feeling. So don't be afraid to go somewhere alone, especially if it's going to help with your career or something you want to learn, because by sitting on the sideline, by not going, you're holding yourself back. So don't be afraid. Other people have felt what you felt. Number 28 is that manifestations really come through when I'm in the present moment and really just enjoying where I'm at, enjoying the place. Because I definitely live in the future a lot of times. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I work on and trying to be present. And I noticed, I'm like, wait, when I'm in the moment and like really enjoying and like savoring it and being so fucking grateful for where I am, that is oftentimes when these big manifestations like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, come through. So getting in the present, enjoying where you are, how far you've come, that really is a recipe for manifesting. And if you want to learn more about manifesting, I have a lot of other episodes where I talk about it because it's one thing that I really enjoy learning about. But one thing that I've been thinking about too is just like in Harry Potter, when he drinks like the Felicis or whatever it's called, the liquid luck, he drinks the liquid luck. That's kind of the energy that I have to be in order for something to happen. So just kind of like, wow, like I'm feeling so lucky, like I can't believe this is my life, like everything is so good. I cannot believe like I'm recording in this studio where some big people have been sitting before. I'm so lucky, like, and then that is when crazy things come in. So kind of drinking that liquid luck, something that I've been practicing. Number 29, we have this thing where sometimes we're unsure of the next step, or we made a decision and we're maybe regretting it, we're not sure. We started a new job, whatever, and we're like a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I love it. But some things are only meant to be stepping stones in our life. Some things aren't meant to be the end all be all. So for example, let's say just because I did get my degree in teaching, my master's degree in teaching, that's not what I'm doing now, right? But that's been a stepping stone for my podcast and the other things I'm doing now, right? I got the teaching, I have gained teaching skills and experience and got to see life and work with kids and meet great coworkers and stuff. So that was a stepping stone opportunity, even though I'm not doing it physically in a classroom right now. I'm not working for a school, right? But some things in our life are only supposed to be stepping stones. So trying not to be so hard on ourselves and judging ourselves and having more of that compassion of like, wow, like I'm glad I tried it. It's not for me. I got all these great skills. Now I'm ready for the next thing. And this has helped me realize that I want to do X, Y, and Z now. So just being grateful for the experience and not beating ourselves up for being indecisive and stuff is one big thing that I learned. So number 30 is that we are always learning. So even though I'm sharing the last things that I've learned in my past 29 years of my life, I don't know everything. I won't ever know everything. We're always learning, and that's something big that you have to accept. So even though I'm like blah 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 sharing this and that with you, I'm just a little baby. Like I forget, I think that was a meme or a TikTok or something, but I'm always learning, and so are you. And just being open to that and not thinking that we are so wise or so mighty that we know everything. Like that's important, just to do us and to keep learning, keep growing. Ooh, I gave a bonus one. Okay, here's my bonus, and then I have a few other bonus ones. So first bonus, it's not I will be happy when. It's not about I'll be happy when. It's about enjoying now. So going along with what I've mentioned earlier, really loving the moment, because there's a lot of people that want this big life. They want the fancy car, let's say. They want the promotion and to be at this top. So I'm going to be happy when I am the CEO. I'm going to be happy when I drive the Maserati or whatever. I'm going to be happy when I lose 300 pounds. Some people have these I'll be happy when things, and it's great to have goals, but a lot of people that then they get there, they get that thing and they're like, okay, what's next? I've heard it time and time again from different people, of like on podcasts and stuff, but from different people saying like, oh my God, I'll be happy when this happens. But then they're like not happy when it happens. So really being happy now, finding happiness now in the moment, finding happiness with yourself now is really important as well. All right, so number 2 bonus, and this was from, these are from of different followers that submitted what they've learned in their 20s. So this is from follower initials DS. They said, stop being so afraid to live in your truth. Seriously, no one is judging you like you do. Nobody is as harsh and as critical as our own selves of our own selves. So literally embrace being you, have fun, love yourself, and be eccentric and crazy, silly, whatever, because no one's judging you as hard as pretty much that we've judged ourselves. And again, like I've already said, we can't control what other people think. So do you. Number 3, from the initial P, from somebody with the initial P. You don't need to rush to find your final destination. Live in the moment and enjoy it. So we don't have to rush to get to that end of that timeline, to get to a certain point of the timeline. We can enjoy it, enjoy every step of the way. Number 4. All right, from the initial M. So she said, no one is more obsessed with their 20s than people in their 20s. So that just gives us a little pointer, or just tells us a little bit about how we think as 20s. We're like, oh my God, me, but we're, some of us are obsessed with the 20s, but nobody else is as obsessed as with that decade as us. Okay, number 5, from SF. And she said, stand up for yourself, prioritize your own peace, and love yourself before others. Don't let people walk on us. That's a huge thing that I've learned as well. And if we want something, we have to speak our mind, because somebody else will probably beat us to it, or beat us to the catch. So if there's something that is bothering you that maybe you're not happy with, or you want to be better, communicate it, ask the question, let them know. And yeah, super important to love ourselves. Find that love. It is a journey. It is not a sprint. It is an ongoing thing, personally for me, that I need to check in with and continue to do. Number 6, from ML. And she said, 20s are actually kind of hard. It's easy to compare yourself to everyone else's timeline. There again with the timeline. I think we all get in the habit of comparing to, oh my God, this friend or this person on social media, and oh, I'm like a little envious that this person has this. But we are on our own unique timeline, and having the patience of that. I just listened to an episode recently with Jay Shetty and like this medium that he had on, and she talked about kind of like this waiting room, or like you're in the airport and you're waiting to get on your plane. Are you like, you have the plane, you're booked, you're there. Are you going to be like miserable and like really nasty while you're in the waiting room, or are you going to make the most of it? Because you know where you're going to go. You got the plane ride. So that kind of put things into perspective for me, of like enjoying where I am now, having patience, don't rush the time and the timing and timeline. Number 7 is from CD, about finding yourself and being yourself. So we really break out of the mold. A lot of times I've broken out of the mold, trying to every day, being authentic and everything, and being yourself, embracing that, because that is literally, I think that they said besides joy, like one of the highest vibrations is like authenticity and having the gratitude. Those are higher vibrations. So it was one of the hardest things for me, was really coming out as like queer or whatever, and embracing that label. What does it mean to me? Or just being okay with it, being open about it, has been helpful. So that is one thing definitely that I think a lot of people work on in their 20s, is being themselves. And for me, the biggest thing was embracing that label, or lack thereof, maybe not having a label and just doing me, and whatever, you know, I don't have to have a label. I don't owe it to anybody, right? So that was one thing that definitely was one of the catalysts of the 20s for me, is being yourself. So thanks for sharing that. And number 8, last but not least, so this is what she learned in her 20s. Oh, and this is from MH. So she said for number 8, not to take things personally. 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with me. Everyone has trauma they are carrying, which often affects how they show up in the world. So be kind. Everybody is carrying their own baggage, their own backpack, as the therapists have said, like with rocks, okay? And like we all have different lessons and things that we've gone through, the trauma. And I love that she brought this up, because a lot of ways people react are just a reaction of their past and like what they've gone through. So a lot of times they are kind of being rude, but it's because they're defensive, because they went through their mom being an asshole when they were a kid, and like you just kind of triggered that because you had a little bit of an attitude. So like, you know, it's not to excuse people's behavior, but like it really does help to understand, like we all come from somewhere, we all have different lessons, and like until we kind of stand in other people's shoes and realize, oh, it's not me, it's like a them thing, then it really helps us to kind of move forward and like keep going and understand people a little better and have some of that compassion. So not to say like let people walk on you and treat you like shit, but just knowing everybody has their own baggage is really helpful. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode and that something resonated with you. If you are one of the people that sent in your lesson of the 20s, I appreciate you. Thank you. Love you. I am excited for this new decade, and I think that it can only really get better from here. It's only going to get better, and I'm only learning more and getting out there, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. And it's like a little nerve-wracking, but like literally everybody, and one of the things in 2E Magnetic, they say like look for expanders. So I'm trying to look for expanders of like people that really got career growth and goals accomplished in their 30s. So just kind of looking at other podcasters like the girls on Almost 30, they really popped off, you know, in their 30s, and Ashley and Raina in Girls Gotta Eat, you know, they popped off in their 30s. So like those gals are definitely my expanders for podcasting and living my life. And then of course there's other actresses and people that have had career growth in their 40s even, like Vera Wang, I don't think became really fashion, like top of fashion until she was 40, I think I read somewhere. So having expanders has been really helpful too. So I'm excited. And for anybody else entering their 30s this year, next year, happy early birthday. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I hope something resonated with you, and if it did, please don't forget to share the episode, leave a little review, and subscribe to the show so you get the episodes in your inbox. If you're watching this on video, thank you. Oh, I can't do that, but thanks love you. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful. And I hope that I catch you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.